Retro Road Test, Vauxhall Cavalier vs. Nissan Bluebird. When comparing two iconic saloon cars of the 1980s, the Vauxhall Cavalier and the Nissan Bluebird naturally stand out. Both vehicles played a significant role in shaping family motoring and company car culture in Britain, offering a mix of practicality, reliability, and affordability. While the Cavalier was a British-built favourite from the Vauxhall lineup, the Bluebird brought a Japanese edge, blending dependability with a touch of exotic engineering. This detailed road test aims to explore their differences across several key categories, including design, performance, handling, comfort, practicality, and ownership costs. Design and styling. Vauxhall Cavalier. The third-generation Vauxhall Cavalier, introduced in 1981, embodied the aerodynamic trends of its era. Its wedge-like silhouette, clean lines, and restrained chrome trim gave it a distinctly modern, business-like appearance. The sharp-edged front end, flanked by rectangular headlamps, lent a purposeful look that appealed to both family buyers and fleet managers. Inside, the Cavalier's dashboard layout was straightforward and functional, though somewhat Spartan in lower trims. Hard plastics dominated the cabin, but they were well assembled, reflecting its British build quality. Higher trims, such as the GLS, featured faux wood detailing and upgraded fabrics that added a touch of class. Nissan Bluebird. The T12 generation Nissan Bluebird, 1986-1990, brought a boxier, more conservative design to the table. While it lacked the Cavalier's aerodynamic finesse, it exuded solidity and durability. Its squared-off nose, complete with a prominent grille and flush headlamps, was simple but effective in giving the car a robust presence. Inside, the Bluebird leaned heavily on practicality, with a slightly more ergonomic dashboard layout than the Cavalier. Soft-touch plastics and neatly integrated switchgear gave the cabin an air of understated refinement. The Bluebird's seating was particularly noteworthy, with generous padding and a higher driving position that suited long-distance comfort. Performance. Engines and power delivery. The Cavalier was offered with a range of petrol and diesel engines. The 1.8-litre petrol unit, producing around 90 bhp, was a popular choice, offering a good balance of performance and efficiency. The engine delivered power smoothly, and while not particularly quick, it felt lively enough for everyday driving. In contrast, the Bluebird featured engines that prioritized reliability and refinement. The 1.8-litre petrol engine, also producing around 88 bhp, was slightly less eager than the Cavalier's but made up for it with a smoother power band and quieter operation. Both cars offered diesel options, but the Bluebird's 2.0-litre diesel was notably more refined, despite being less powerful. Acceleration and top speed. The Cavalier 1.8 could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 11 seconds, while the Bluebird took a slightly more leisurely 12 seconds. On motorways, both cars could cruise comfortably at 70 miles per hour, though the Cavalier felt marginally more capable when overtaking. Ride and handling. Vauxhall Cavalier. The Cavalier's McPherson strut front suspension and torsion beam rear axle struck a fine balance between comfort and agility. On twisty roads, it exhibited commendable composure, with minimal body roll and direct, predictable steering. While the ride could feel firm over uneven surfaces, it added to the car's dynamic appeal, making it a more engaging drive overall. Nissan Bluebird. The Bluebird's suspension was tuned for comfort, featuring independent rear suspension in higher-spec models. It soaked up road imperfections with greater ease than the Cavalier, delivering a smoother ride, especially on poorly maintained British B roads. However, this comfort came at the expense of handling precision. The Bluebird felt less composed in corners, with more noticeable body roll and lighter, less communicative steering. Interior and comfort. Space and layout. Both cars offered spacious cabins, though the Bluebird edged ahead in rear legroom, making it the better option for families with taller passengers. Boot space was generous in both, with the Cavalier offering 400 litres and the Bluebird 420 litres. The rear seats in both cars could fold to expand storage, enhancing practicality. Seating and ergonomics. The Bluebird seats were more supportive over long journeys, thanks to their superior padding and adjustable lumbar support in higher trims. The Cavalier's seats, while comfortable, lacked the same level of adjustability, and its driving position felt slightly lower, which some drivers might find less commanding. Practicality and features. Equipment levels. In base trims, both cars were somewhat sparse, with essentials like manual windows and limited upholstery options. However, moving up the range revealed stark differences. The Cavalier GLS offered electric windows, a sunroof, and an onboard trip computer, features that were considered cutting edge for the time. The Bluebird's higher trims included similar features but went a step further with options like air conditioning and a more advanced stereo system, giving it a slight edge in terms of luxury. Reliability. The Bluebird, being a Japanese car, had an impeccable reputation for reliability. Owners often praised its trouble-free operation and low maintenance costs. The Cavalier was also dependable, but its British manufacturing occasionally resulted in inconsistent build quality, particularly in earlier models. Fuel economy. Both cars offered competitive fuel efficiency for their class. The Cavalier 1.8 petrol returned around 35 miles per gallon in mixed driving conditions, while the Bluebird 1.8 petrol delivered slightly better figures at 37 miles per gallon. Diesel variants of both vehicles pushed these numbers into the 50s, appealing to high-mileage drivers. Driving experience. Around town. In urban settings, the Cavalier's slightly more compact dimensions and better steering feedback made it easier to maneuver in tight spaces. However, the Bluebird's higher driving position and softer ride gave it a distinct advantage in terms of visibility and comfort over speed bumps and potholes. On the open road. The Cavalier was the more enjoyable car on country roads, thanks to its sharper handling and more responsive engine. The Bluebird excelled on motorways, where its refined suspension and quieter cabin made for a more relaxing long-distance cruiser. Ownership costs. Purchase price. In the 1980s, the Cavalier was generally more affordable than the Bluebird, making it the preferred choice for budget-conscious buyers. This affordability also extended to parts and servicing, with Vauxhall's extensive dealer network ensuring easier access to repairs. Depreciation and resale value. The Bluebird held its value better over time, reflecting its reputation for reliability and build quality. The Cavalier, while popular, depreciated more quickly due to its ubiquity and perceived lower quality in earlier models. Verdict. Both the Vauxhall Cavalier and the Nissan Bluebird have their merits, catering to slightly different audiences. The Cavalier excels in driving dynamics, affordability, and British charm, making it the ideal choice for those who value a more engaging drive and lower running costs. Meanwhile, the Bluebird stands out for its comfort, refinement, and bulletproof reliability, appealing to families and high-mileage drivers seeking hassle-free motoring. Ultimately, the choice boils down to priorities. If you want a car that's fun to drive and easy on the wallet, the Cavalier is the winner. However, For those who prioritize comfort and long-term dependability, the Bluebird is hard to beat. Both cars remain fondly remembered as icons of their time, embodying the best of British and Japanese motoring in the 1980s.